I'm in my orchard and in my garden. Time to get cooking. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This is a ghost light. And a ghost light is an electric light that is left energized on the stage of a theater when a theater is unoccupied and would otherwise be completely dark. It typically consists of an exposed incandescent bulb or an LED lamp mounted on a portable light stand. It's usually placed near center stage for safety reasons. In case someone is in the theater working late, it allows them to see where they're going. This is episode 9, and we're calling this Illumination. Two very beautiful and creative people will be joining me in the kitchen today. We're calling this Illumination because they are two of the most radiant people that I've encountered. Aaron Urbanek and international soprano Lisa Daltirus, who will join us later in the broadcast. Aaron, Lisa, and I all met at Opera Carolina. Aaron is a businessman and a financier and an incredible chef. And Lisa Daltirus is one of the most shimmering, one of the most spectacular soprano voices of our time. Both shining bright stars in their fields who have left an indelible impression on me. Aaron and his wife, Emily, invited my husband and I for dinner at their home, and Aaron prepared a 7-course dinner with such care and such precision. It was so touching. But there was a guest there who was a part of the party who was vegan and became upset when she found out that the pasta course contained squid ink, and she got very upset. And Aaron stopped the dinner. He went outside with her. He sat on the curb with her with his arm around her and comforted her for 45 minutes. I just thought it was such a great illustration of compassion and humanity, and an image that I will never forget. This is my encounter with Aaron. Back in 2011, I sang the role of Azucena in Giuseppe Verdi's Il Trovatore with Opera Carolina. Lisa Daltirus was the Leonora, and Jim Mina was the conductor. One day in rehearsal, a man walked through the door, and there was a lot of attention that seemed to be focused on him. Everybody got really happy. I noticed the entire mood of the rehearsal space changed. And I was very attracted to him because he had such an incredible smile, such a really illuminating smile, and such a beautiful aura around him. And later I found out that he was the husband of our rehearsal pianist, Emily. Someone had told me that he was an excellent chef and that he'd invited the entire cast to his home for a 7-course dinner. And sadly, the night of the dinner party, I had to be away and was unable to make it. When I came back and I arrived back at my hotel, there was a big package at my door, wrapped up beautifully. And it was the dinner that I'd missed. And this was a gift from Aaron Urbanek, our guest today. And I called Aaron to thank him for such a
Just such a beautiful, beautiful and generous gesture. Me, when I called to thank him, well, when your husband comes into town, I'd like to make dinner for you. He's extraordinary. I noticed that when he came into the rehearsal room. I noticed that there was just such incredible light around him and that everybody was attracted to him. That particular evening was so unforgettable that we became friends. We exchanged information. There was even one time that he came to our place in New York when Robert and I were away, and he taught our daughter how to cook. He and my husband became such good friends that they started taking trips together to distilleries. He has become a really dear friend, a magnificent chef, and I'm pleased that he agreed to join us today on Cooking with Denyce. This is Aaron Urbanek.
Aaron!
Hey, how are you, Denise? Good to see you again.
You too, sweetie. Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate this.
It's my pleasure.
So I don't know if you're...
You said you wanted to cook.
Thanks, Aaron. I don't know if you're... Please.
I was just going to say, when you said you wanted to cook together and we're going to follow social distance guidelines, I didn't think it would be quite this way. This is a bit too distant, but we'll take it.
We'll take it. All right. So I know that you spent some time in Cambodia, right? You've traveled, you and your wife, Emily, have traveled all over the world with your work and her work. So what are we doing today and what are we making?
So I'm quick to say this is inspired by flavors I experienced in Cambodia in some of the dishes. Unless somebody's grandmother taught me how to cook it, I will never say what I'm cooking is authentic. So I'm quick to make that distinguishment. But what I'm going to do is a version of a very common dish called chicken amok. You'll have it everywhere there. It's prepared slightly different ways depending where you go. But the big thing is the flavors are bright. They make you feel good. It's healthy and it can be varied. So if you want chicken, put chicken. If you want just veggies, do just veggies. If you want soy products, put soy products. So you can do and move it around any way you want. So I thought it was versatile. And we use some ingredients maybe not everybody's used to, but have seen in the market, and hopefully demystify them a little bit.
All right. Well, I'm ready.
All right.
I washed my hands. I'm ready to get into this.
Good to go. Well, let's start with the lemongrass.
Okay.
So we've all seen this in the market, and most people go, well, I don't know what to do with this thing. It's fibrous. It's weird. It's tough. But we're going to make it pretty simple today. So we're going to literally peel back a few of the layers. So we'll start there. And just like you do with an onion with the skin. And as you're peeling it, you're going to see how fibrous and strong it is. It's almost like a bamboo. I mean, they're both grasses, so I guess they are similar in a lot of ways. And what I like to do is I'll peel back enough that and I'm going to put this on the camera so you can see. You'll see this, the very tip, you'll see degradation in the color, right? So it's very, very firm here. It's very white. It gets a little softer white and it gets greener as we go. We're going to take off, maybe an inch or two at the end. So we want to get rid of that tough fibrous part.
And Aaron, do you take a meat tenderizer to it to release the bouquet?
So I'm glad you said that. For this dish, I'm not, but you can absolutely do that. Since we're putting it in a food processor, it's going to get shredded pretty well. So I'm not worried about that, but you can absolutely do that. And if nothing else, it's going to make your kitchen smell great.
It smells delicious.
We're going to then we're going to work our way back a little bit to where it just starts to go from white to green. And so we're going to try to get the lightest part of that. And you typically get less than maybe 5 to 6 inches. So we're going to keep this guy, but save these sticks, these lengths of grass. What I like to do is when I make rice, I'll put them in the water, or if you're going to braise something, you can put it in the braising liquid, just hold like this, and it's still going to impart that beautiful citrus scent.
The smell is divine. Oh,
right. Again, that's
delicious.
that's sort of the beauty to me of, and one of the reasons I fell in love with Cambodia, besides the people, it's not everything we're used to. A curry in the U.S., we typically think of going to our favorite Indian restaurant and their curries. Theirs are just a little more fruit and vegetable centric. I noticed little different flavors to it, maybe a little lighter to me anyway. But
Hmm.
it's just I wanted to do a curry that's maybe not what everybody's had before. But you'll certainly see that there's certainly a crossover between this and say a Thai curry. I think they have a lot of similarities, quite frankly. But this stands out a little bit.
All
So
right.
I'm gonna give this a
Got my
chop.
heat going.
We're gonna make little dimes. And again, because we're putting this in the food processor, I'm not too worried about getting it real small. If you want, you could take it on a microplane or one of the ginger graters that people have. There are those spikes that you just rub it over. But again, this is
Hmm.
going to food processor. We're just going to chop this up. Thin but
I've
on
already
good
made
pieces.
mine.
Oh, well, you are that good. So that doesn't surprise me.
Well, I just wanted to get the ball rolling. So, I mean, we're all set over here. I'm ready for my chicken to hit the oil.
Well, let's do that. Let's not mess around. If you're ready for your chicken in the oil, let's get the chicken in the oil.
I'm ready.
Then we'll come back and finish our veggies. So I will do the same.
Okay.
Crank up the
All
wok.
right.
You can also do it in a
All
pan.
right. Very good. And what do you put, about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil in there?
Yeah, I think most people at this point have a pretty good grasp on cooking chicken that's cubed. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
maybe not too much vegetable oil. I try to stay away, believe it or not, from olive oil because that imparts a flavor. I want something neutral. So grapeseed oil or vegetable oil, something a little more neutral.
All right.
Yeah, cooking.
It's happening over here.
All right. I love it. I love it.
Very good.
Right, I'm
And
gonna put my
with the
veggies in the
wok,
bowl.
it cooks so fast with a wok, because it's thin.
Yes.
And I love that. I marinated my chicken last night. I cut it up and cubed it, and I put some of the Denyce opera spice blend on that, and I put
Nice.
some of your a wonderful some of the wonderful. I put some soy sauce in it, and I just had that marinating last night.
Beautiful, beautiful, excellent way to go. And that, to me, that really demonstrates also with so many dishes that people get hung up so much on following the recipe verbatim. You don't have to do that. Whatever you want is what you
It's,
should taste, is what you should cook. You should make things
yeah.
to your palate. So this
All
should be
right.
a guideline. It's kind of like traffic signs in Southern Italy. They're a suggestion. You may or may not follow them. Having driven there,
Ain't that the
can,
truth? Oh my
man.
God, that is the truth.
Oh, well,
All right.
there's
Very
many
good.
places like that. All right. So I'm going to get the ginger
Egypt.
going here.
Are you cutting up some ginger and
Fibers.
putting it in with the? Oh, you mean for the amok?
Correct. I'm just trying to get this
All right.
prepped here.
So do you want to tell everybody what that is? Because right now we're cooking the chicken. That'll go fast, right? And then we'll do the red pepper, right?
Correct. So the red pepper, and again, this is a preference. Once my chicken is cooked, I like to take the red pepper, take the chicken out, put the red pepper in that same pan, and then just wilt it a little bit right now. There's my friend Luca, who's from Southern Italy, whose family I stayed with there, who's busting my chops a little bit about the driving, but that's a little, we do that to each other. He knows I'm telling the
Ciao,
truth.
Luca.
Luca
He's
is
making something that I teach. Oh.
Luca
So I
actually
just
had on
wanted.
the intro, the chef I cook with, one of my family, really, one of my dearest friends, and literally my favorite chef on the planet, without question.
Is he the one who won Chopped?
Yep, Luca won Chopped on the Time and Trimmer.
Oh, congratulations, Luca. That's fantastic. Thanks, Aaron. I do sometimes get nervous diverting from the recipe. Any tips or tricks on how to know where you can take some liberties and what maybe you should stick to? Did you hear that?
Yeah,
It's
I did.
a question for you.
Jennifer, that's a great question. I recommend for myself is don't be afraid to mess around. Don't be afraid to be fearless. Change up the recipes to your taste. So if you feel like one spice is not your thing, just remove it and try another spice that you like. But it's a matter of actually cooking. The more we cook, the more we learn about the techniques, what flavors we like, what is too much, what is not enough. I mean, all of us have made many dishes. I certainly have, where I've had too much of one ingredient, not enough of the other. All right, so that's not the end of the world. Next time you cook it, you're going to adjust and change there. But proteins, you can switch out proteins. Nowadays, just replace with vegetables. That's pretty common. Again, tofu, people fill in there. Spices, you can also adjust as well. Fish sauce, for example. We have fish sauce in there. Some people it's too powerful for them. I say, instead of fish sauce, take soy, same amount of fish sauce you'd have, say it's a tablespoon. But take half soy and half vinegar and try that. And now it's not as strong, but it gives you some of that acid, some of that umami you want. So it's a matter of just really just cooking and experimenting.
Okay.
You can always cook it again.
So I just want to tell everybody, you have certainly the recipe, but what we're taking is a pound of chicken breast that's cubed, and then about, we're just cooking that in the oil, about 2 tablespoons of the vegetable oil. And then after that, we're going to add the peppers or whatever it is that you'd like until they get soft. And then we take that out and add in coconut milk and fish sauce, right?
Correct.
All right, my chicken's ready.
Mine is almost there. Yeah, and when you do put in, oh yeah, oh man, you got it. That looks good. Beautiful.
All right.
Yeah. So you remove that from the pan.
Okay. Okay.
And then cook.
And then you add in the peppers.
Yep.
Okay.
To the way you prefer. Al dente probably for most people. Some like it super wilted. Whatever.
Do you add more oil to the pan?
If you feel you need it. Yeah, kind of eye that up. If you're not sure, it doesn't hurt. Just keep an eye on.
Yeah.
I try to just use the residual oil if I can, but yeah, sometimes you're going to need to add a little bit.
Yeah. So, Aaron, I mean, you were telling me that you learned cooking from your grandparents, your Hungarian grandmother and I don't remember, your German grandmother or something like that?
On my paternal side, we're Slovak, but grandma was, those countries changed borders about every 5 days. Back in the day. So Grandma Urbanek, whose maiden name is Grandma Endersall, was when I did a little research on her family, it looks like maybe some Austro-Hungary Empire in there. On my father's side, my grandfather, full-on Slovak, and then my maternal grandmother is German but married an Italian. So.
Holy moly! Cross between 2 fires.
There's no tempers going on there at all.
Uncle Larry and Sveta, thank you for watching. That's my husband's brother and his wife Sveta, and I love them too. And thank you for watching, Larry and Sveta. Usually, if there's a ball game on, they'll tell me, "Look, Denyce, we'll have to catch it on YouTube because we can't. First things first. If there's a football game on, we'll catch the show later." Yeah. Aaron, thank you for putting substitutions in the recipe on Linktree. Thank you, Anne. Thank you so much. Oh, hey, Laurence.
We try. Yeah, most of my friends who I was talking about this, they're like, dude, the Browns are playing Pittsburgh. I can't miss that. And I get it. I get it. Being a Cleveland boy. So I don't fault anybody.
Oh, can you believe? I can't believe that you're from Lorraine. I went to Oberlin. That's where I did my undergraduate.
That's why I know. And I used to work at Oberlin.
That's crazy. You did not.
I did. For a while, I worked for the National Association of College Stores.
Oh my God! When were you there?
Ooh, I worked there in the early 2000s.
Oh, I was gone. Ben Perez, hello from Brooklyn. Thanks. I was gone by that time. All right. How's it go?
Obviously.
Yeah. I loved it there. I had a grand time being there. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't everybody's cup of tea. Some people felt cabin fever and felt like they needed to, get out and do other stuff. But I had a grand time.
Well, and
All
that,
right, so
you have the tie-in with Margaret Gardner. Of course, Oberlin was a major hub of the Underground Railroad.
isn't that something? And speaking of which, we just got a comment from Laurence Ubersfeld, who was one of the guests last weekend in our Ménage à Trois. And she did a film, a documentary about the making of the Margaret Gardner story. And Lisa Daltirus, who will be joining us in just a few minutes, she and I worked together on that opera back in Cincinnati and in Philadelphia. She had her children with her. Her daughter was really, really sweet with my daughter and helped take care of her because my daughter was really, really young at that time. But so that's incredible, this Oberlin connection. And then Laurence just texted in, and we've got Lisa here with us, who is just such a magnificent singer. All right, what's going on? Because I'm doing good with the red pepper.
Beautiful. So once those are the consistency you want, go ahead
I'll show you what that looks like.
Lovely, lovely. You're not messing around again. That's
no, honey. No, I'm hungry.
Months of red pepper.
So take that out. Just put that in with the chicken.
Exactly. We put that aside for right now.
All right. All right, Chef Aaron. What's next?
All right. I have to do. I've done my pepper yet, but I'll wait. But let's go on to the other ingredient that people freak out about or not sure what to do with, and that is the turmeric.
Oh, turmeric.
So if you
some people say turmeric, some people say turmeric, some people say turmeric, right?
My British friend said it's turmeric. I was like, okay, yeah, fine. I'm not going to argue.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Wherever you're from, it's something different anyway, so we can accept that. So I'm going to use the fresh one. That's a tiny little root, often about the size of your fingers. You can use powdered. I will tell people, if you're using fresh, it will stain everything that comes within 300 yards of it. So only way I found to be able to clean it is bleach. I'm sure there's other ways. If someone has a great tip on how to clean the yellow stains, let us know. I just accept that some of my devices will be stained because I use it quite a bit. It's fragrant, it's beautiful, it gives you that intense yellow. But certainly you can use powdered if you just want to not have to deal with all of this messy color that you're going to get. And it's interesting because it's this beautiful orange. Then when it cooks, it becomes this more of a yellow, a deeper yellow. And just like ginger, I like to skin it with a spoon.
Oh, is that right? I know, that's one of the things about you. First of all, Lucas said, watch your fingers, Aaron.
He taught me how to cut, so he knows I shouldn't get hurt.
All right, I'm ready to get going with the fish sauce and the coconut.
We'll put the coconut oil in first because if you put fish sauce first with the hot pan.
The coconut milk.
The coconut milk, yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Pour that, then the fish sauce. With the fish sauce first, it's really going to light up. And it might be overwhelming. It is quite potent. And people not have fish sauce, when you smell it, it's strong. It's fermented. So some people are off put by it. I get that, but try it with the dishes. My wife and I love it. We fear, like when we were in Vietnam, that is basically salt there, if you will. Use the same way. It is in everything.
Okay. All right. Well, that's happening. You put like a whole can of that in there, like what is that? Like 13.5.
Correct.
Something like that.
I'll reserve, and you can use a little water for each. I'll reserve maybe a tablespoon for the paste when we put it in the food processor. Sometimes you see a little bit of liquid in there.
Yeah.
I got to keep cleaning my board. Chef Luca's going to chime in and say you got to clean your board. ABC in the kitchen, always be cleaning.
All right. While you're doing that, because I'm getting going, this is going to bring us to our very first giveaway for the day. Last week, if you were here with us, I did this tarte tropicienne which was a very sort of labor-intensive kind of cake. But what is beautiful about it was this orange blossom water. So I would love to send the first 3 people the orange blossom water, which you can put on many different things. For the first 3 people that email at cookingwithdenyce@gmail.com, what did we say about that giveaway? The first 3 people who email, where did Aaron and I meet? Aaron said before we came on camera, if you say a room, that's technically right. But if you can be specific, where did Aaron and I meet? Email for the first 3 people. I'd love to send the orange blossom water to cookingwithdenyce@gmail.com. There we go. All right.
Beautiful. All right.
Okay,
how you
so
looking on those on that sauce? You can let that just simmer.
Let it simmer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep it low.
And when do you add? And when do you add the amok?
As soon as the amok's ready. Mostly I put that on first. Let that simmer. While that's simmering, I'll bring together the rest of my ingredients for the amok and put it in the food processor. Then add that to the coconut.
Oh, somebody from Upper Carolina. Hi, Miss Valerie.
Is a good friend and an amazing person in production, PSM, and she is a rock star.
And there's Dave Legacy from the Salt Table. So we'll be giving away some spices as we do every week too. But you can order them yourself if you go to www.salttable.com. They created this blend specifically for this show, Denyce's Opera Blend. It is delicious. I use it on everything. So there you have it. But we'll be giving that away later on. Hey, Dave, I think I'm going to add in my amok.
All right. So you are well prepared. I am.
Well, I had all of that because the time always goes faster than you think, you know? So, and this amok is kind of this is a real sort of slurry of a number of things: ginger and galanga and turmeric, and I don't know what all is in here. I made mine last night.
There should be some garlic in there as well.
For sure.
Optional. Not everybody is down with some heat. Mint.
I am.
And I don't think we use mint enough as a savory spice in the United States.
Yeah.
The Italians certainly use it in savory dishes. It is. It doesn't have to taste like a hard candy. It works so well in so many dishes, and we seem to forget about that here. Other countries have figured that out. I'm on a mission to make mint more savory, if you will.
Oh, that's wonderful. Very good. All right, it's going over here.
And I'm going to pulse my amok right now.
Okay.
So I'm going to be a little noisy here.
Just want to show everybody what that looks like a little bit from my end. If you can see that. I don't know if you can see that.
Looks good.
And the smell, gosh, I could drink it with a straw. I mean, that is fabulous. That is a gorgeous, gorgeous smell. Mamma mia.
Yeah.
So you just let that situate and let everybody get together?
Yeah, exactly. We've got raw ingredients in there, so we want those to cook. And that's going to bring all those flavors together. My favorite out of all of this, which is also one that people are never sure of, is the galango, which you can get dried or fresh. This is the fresh. Looks similar to ginger. It's a rhizome. Fibrous. It has, if you smell it, I think it smells a bit like pine. So it's almost. So it's not quite gingery. It's a little brighter. It's almost ginger citrus. For me, it's a bit of pine. It's just a beautiful thing to try if you haven't. Again, don't be afraid to try all these new foods and try all these new flavors that you haven't seen before. All right, so I've got my amok.
So that's happening. Oh, that looks great.
So
yeah, very good.
See that as
all right, so that is situating. So I started out by saying, you know, that the three of us, me, you, and Lisa, were all met together with at Opera Carolina back in 2011.
Yeah.
And Lisa is just such a beautiful, beautiful artist.
Yes.
And on top of that, she is just a magnificent human being. And I like that combination of people who are like that, who have really good hearts, big hearts, wonderful souls, and who are great on the stage, you know? And she is that. She and I worked together on the Margaret Garner. And then, of course, we worked together later in your town, in Charlotte, with opera, with lovely Charlotte. And she came to your house that evening at that dinner party that I had to miss. But she was there that evening. And I just don't know if I really conveyed to you how shocked and how incredibly moved I was to get back to my hotel to find this gigantic, you know, it was a cooler with everything wrapped with instructions telling me what goes first, what was the amuse-bouche, which one was the clears the palate. It was just such a beautiful, beautiful gesture. One of the most beautiful moments for me ever. I think that we can afford to bring Lisa on while you and I still keep going.
Perfect.
To just chat with her and bring her into the conversation. Hey, Miss Lisa.
Hey, how are you, Denyce and Aaron? So good to be here.
Great to see you.
It's wonderful to see you, Lisa, and to reconnect with you. I'm sorry we can't be together so you can taste what's happened. If you could just smell the smell here. Oh.
I can only imagine, because the smells that are going on here are like amazing. So I know that it's very fragrant, aromatic where you are.
Yeah. So Aaron, after that sauce gets going, then you put everything then back in?
Exactly. You're going to put the red peppers in and your chicken back in.
Yeah. Okay.
And really, at this point, it's done, but you can, I like to let it simmer a little bit just to bring it a little more together.
Okay. All right. Very good. And you said that you can make a slurry or something if it wasn't thick enough for you, right?
Correct. And that, again, that's what a decision. If you like your sauce more like a sugo, a little thicker, put a slurry in there. For me, I'm fine with it a little bit runny because I'm going to pour it over the rice anyway, and I love it to get all inside that rice.
Man, is that good. So Lisa, we were talking yesterday about this, and you said that when we mentioned the coconut, it made you really hungry, and it made you sort of nostalgic.
Absolutely.
For, right.
Yeah, the coconut being the connector of this East meets West in a way, or the Caribbean, is that, you know, I love a lot of, really, I've had experience with Thai dishes more than Cambodian dishes, but it's all in the same region. You know, Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam. And I enjoy all of those amazing flavors, but I really love coconut. And I probably tend to put coconut in most things. And if there's an option for coconut, I go for the coconut. So how that connected to me is through my grandmother, who
really,
was from, who was from Barbados. So my
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah. But, you know, my grandmother was really the one in the kitchen that I was watching, you know, concoct all of these amazing, wonderful Caribbean dishes. Many of them with coconut, but more importantly, many desserts with coconut.
Oh, so, come on.
Yeah. So
that is a winner.
Sparked in me when we were talking about this. Yeah.
So I just want to show you a little bit of what's going on here and what this looks like and how delicious that is. Look at that.
Wow. Yum.
You chose the wrong profession, right. Denyce.
I know. People tell me that all the time. How you doing over there, Chef Aaron?
I am good. I'm wanting to see if we want to go ahead and do the spring roll. Since that, you can
Let's get going with the spring rolls. Okay. All right. Very good.
So this, of course, this is a Vietnamese-inspired spring roll. Nice thing about this spring roll, again, a little different than what maybe most of us are used to in the U.S., is when you're in Vietnam, you get a heaping, and I do mean a heaping plate of herbs at the table all the time. So you'll be some version of a basil, be mint, it'll be cilantro, so these larger leaf herbs. And the spring rolls, that is the bulk of it vegetable wise. But the beauty of the spring roll, it's easy to make. And I'd asked Denyce before this, I said, just grab whatever you want from your garden. That's the beauty of it. There's no wrong way to do it. Take whatever fresh vegetables you have, but make sure you've got these herbs. And again, the mint and the basil are to me are the two big ones, and maybe cilantro as well. But have those and add whatever vegetable you desire, and you're gonna enjoy it. Again, it's clean, it's delightful, it's simple. If you want to add some chicken or some shrimp, certainly go ahead. But you can go with just the veggies and the freshest from whatever you're growing in your garden and get at your local farmers market.
All right. Very, very good. All right. So the spring roll. So that's a new one.
You've got
You still there?
your handy paper ready, your roll.
I've got my handy paper ready. I'm ready. I visited the local Asian market. I've got all my spring roll paper here, which I'm going to dip in water to soften, and then we'll start rolling.
Absolutely.
Rocking and rolling.
And when you dip these, you're going to dip it and just leave it in there for a couple seconds. Barely a couple seconds, actually.
Okay.
I'm counting to 4. I think that may be good enough. And it comes out, it's going to seem like it's still, you'll see it's still very paper-like. If we need to dip it back in, we can. But it's going to absorb that water. It'll take a few seconds. These are the tapioca and rice papers. I think they absorb a little faster. They get a little softer. But you can use the plain rice. There are some papers that you eat without wetting them first. They're very thin. I don't remember the name of them, but so you have this little text of crunch, which is delightful.
Oh my goodness, how wonderful. Pliable. All right, terrific.
We're going to throw in our herbaceousness from the garden, put in some mint, put in that basil. We'll go with a little red pepper. My wife has green peppers growing out back. And then we just roll it up one roll, maybe a third the way down. Then I bring sort of the sides in, as you'll see on the screen. And then roll it all the way down. And voila.
And you put some basil and you put some cilantro in there, mint.
Mint. To me, mint's the joy of it. It gives it a freshness, a real clean, tight flavor.
And I'm going to put some shrimp in mine. I'm going to add a little shrimp in mine.
You're living on the edge.
Yes.
Love it.
Oh, look at that. Very good.
And then whatever dip
you
like.
Lisa, there's so much I like. I love the hot chilies and I love the hoisin sauce. That's one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. But, you know, as we were saying in the intro, you know, I met Aaron, but basically my husband stole him from me. I was just supposed to, I was just a conduit. I was just supposed to introduce you to Robert. That's it. That's as far as my job goes.
Robert has better taste in bourbon than you do, Denyce. I'm going to break it to you. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings here. You know.
Honey, yeah. He does. I'm ready. I'm ready for all that. So, Lisa, while we're doing this, you want to tell us a little bit about I'm going to continue to roll with some more spring rolls.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. So, again, my connection is coconut. And it is a sweet coconut dish that can be referred to as coconut candy, or more importantly, in the Caribbean or in Barbados, it would be coconut cakes, because they're like little haystacks. So I would say that that's probably more akin to maybe in the United States, people would understand macaroons, but this doesn't have any egg or flour in it. So just straight up sweet tooth sugar.
I love it.
Right?
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, exactly. So I am so excited to do this. This is probably the reason why I got a sweet tooth as a little kid, watching my grandmother put this together in the kitchen. So it deals with like coconut flakes, as you can see that, like little snow. Oh gosh, don't let it snow yet. don't let it snow yet.
That's wonderful.
Right. And for me, I've opted to put in some extra flavors. I guess that's the word. But I was thinking aromatic because it is extremely aromatic in here. So we'll be using ginger, and we'll also be using a nut, which is actually nutmeg. And I don't know how many people in our viewing audience are very familiar with this nut. We often get it, ground in the store. We kind of shake it on things, usually, some of our fall season baking. But I have such a fond memory of just sitting there watching my grandmother grating these coconuts and, taking a grater that I have right here and then like grating down the actual nut itself. That's just those nostalgic memories. I just dropped it, but that's okay. Those nostalgic memories that I have. So this is really awesome. Do you want me to go ahead and start with it, or?
Well, I think so. I mean, we should get go. We're going to have a drink in the end, and the good Dr. Robert has made a contribution for today since he couldn't be with us. But probably we should. Sure, get going with it. Don't you think so, Lisa?
Okay. Yeah, but I didn't know if you guys were totally done, so I didn't want to like.
Well, we're still working here. We're still working. I don't know how you're doing, Aaron, but I'm still working on the spring rolls. No, have you really?
You were so far ahead of me. I had to kick it in overdrive. I had to go into Devo mode.
Have you played it already?
I played it while you were.
Okay. I didn't even add my vermicelli yet to the thing. All right. Well, Lisa, why don't you get going? I haven't played it yet, so why don't you share with us the.
Sure. So
okay.
This
Very good.
Is super simple. As I said, it is woefully a lot of sugar and coconut. So I've actually already, let me go this way. I've actually already started in my pot here. So this is a cup of water that's in here. And what we're going to do, I'll take it off the stove. I've already put some of brown sugar, but it's about like a cup and a half to 2 cups, I would say, of brown sugar to 1 cup of water. And you let that begin to boil down. I'll start stirring it in. I've actually had it on the stove for a minute, so I might add a little more water. Just a tad. And you let that boil down. But what I put into it, which I call perhaps an optional or an extra that sort of really gives it a lot of flavor, is the ginger. So as you can see, I have ginger here that I've already peeled, right? Because ginger comes with a skin on it, and we have to peel that skin off. Now, you can opt for a couple of ways to do this, depending upon the strength of the ginger that you want to taste. You could just like cut, like a top of your finger, kind of, just a measure it size piece, and just drop that into the boiling mixture and just let that boil. You could then slice it if you want it in very thin slices that you would actually almost julienne, if you will, as I'm doing right now, making some julienne pieces. I don't know if you can see that. And they would actually come up mixed in with the coconut. Or, as I said, I always used to love to watch my grandmother grate things. So you can then just take it and grate some pieces into the mixture. And all the while, this is boiling. This is boiling down. And
all right.
As I said, then come up with another wonderful spice. I love smelling it. It's just such a nutty, sort of sweet, spicy, like that allspice that you use in the autumn time kind of
Yes.
smell. So this is the nutmeg. And you can take that nutmeg in its nut form, and the smaller, let me just show you, maybe the smaller edge of your grater as opposed to the bigger, wider edge. And you can sit there and just grate that into your mixture while it's boiling.
Wow.
Now, of course, with this water and abundance of sugar, we're actually making something that's like a syrup, right? Or it's it's going to be thick eventually. So I'll stir that a little. And so then we want to deal with about a pound of grated or shredded coconut. Now, this is the cheap version. And the cheap version comes in bags about 14 ounces, so roughly under a pound. But I forgot something. I knew I needed another aromatic. I forgot the cinnamon stick. Now,
my.
Right, exactly. Can't forget that. I do prefer a stick to the powder. It's something about as it boils. I don't know if you've had it, in hot cider or even boiled it by itself to make like a cinnamon tea. It just has such a stronger taste than the powdered one. So we put that down in the mixture to boil as well. So it's creating all of these amazing flavors.
So are we waiting for that to boil down then?
It's boiling, and I actually have a version that's kind of together, but if you want to go on to something else.
I'm going to go on and we'll talk a little bit and see Robert's bourbon.
Okay. I'll go ahead and put this
and then
coconut in while you're doing that.
Great. Very, very good. Very good.
Aaron and I took a trip last year, actually before COVID, down to Kentucky, and we did the Bourbon Trail. And I think probably one of our most favorite distilleries of bourbon was Buffalo Trace. Buffalo Trace makes a wide variety of different bourbon. At the high end is a bourbon called Pappy Van Winkle, and it's probably the most sought after bourbon. It's very rare. You can really only find it on sort of the secondary market, and you have to pay a premium for it because it's just aged for a long period of time, usually over 20 years. And I just want to mention for a minute what makes bourbon unique. What makes bourbon different than whiskey, for instance. And there are really 5 different characteristics that make a spirit bourbon. First is that it has to be made in the U.S. To be called bourbon. It has to be aged in new charred oak barrels. That's number 2. Number 3, the mash, which is the mixture of grains that is cooked. You cook bourbon. Has to be at least 51% corn. And the distilled product, which is called moonshine, can't enter the barrel at a higher proof than 125%. And if it is a higher proof, then it has to be diluted with water, and water is the only additive that you can place, in bourbon, and that's the fifth characteristic. So that's what makes bourbon bourbon. Let's have a little taste here, and we'll show you what bourbon looks like. I don't like to do anything to my bourbon except drink it. And that is a lovely bourbon.
All right, very good.
Lovely, beautiful.
Love that.
Wow, that's awesome.
Beautiful. Excellent. Well, I'm just about plating here. Where are you, Lisa? Where are you in your process,
Wow,
Lisa?
that's really awesome.
Yeah.
I just speaking of bourbon, not that I have much experience with it, honestly, but spending some time in Kentucky, where it's really made and distilled, they have some wonderful varieties.
Yeah, I'm not a big drinker at all, actually, but I certainly appreciate it because my husband enjoys wonderful red wine, and
Denyce, you there?
I'm here. Do you not hear me? I'm here. You don't hear me? You don't hear me?
No, unfortunately, I can't.
I'm talking. It says the host unmuted my mic. I'm here the whole time. I've been chatting. Do you still have me? Do you hear me, Aaron?
I can.
Okay, very good. All right, excellent. So I don't know. Lisa can't hear apparently. Have you plated everything, Aaron?
I have plated and have poured
Oh my goodness.
the two pairings.
Okay.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Don't know. That's live show, right?
That's right. That is right. You have two pairings there, Aaron?
Yeah, two things that I think go incredibly well with these flavors. The one that goes best, quite frankly, is not a bourbon, but chose an Irish whiskey. This is Redbreast 12. This is their single pot still. It's got ginger taste to it. It's got citrus. Goes absolutely beautifully with this. And then don't you ladies criticize me because my French is not as strong as my wife's.
Here we go. Here we go.
A Chardonnay, so I got the Macon Puissé. I chose one that's a few years old. Wanted some age on it, a lot of minerality, a lot of citrus again, super clean, but just goes absolutely fantastic with this dish. And I've tried it with this dish more than once, so I can absolutely verify that. If you want a red, I think a Sangiovese or Tempranillo would be the way to go. And I think I recommend probably like a New World Sangiovese. Try something out of California, something that's not as traditional. It just the fruit forwardness goes really nice with this.
Some people said that sounds wonderful, honey. I've got all of your recommendations. I went out to the store and I got all of the things that you suggested that I get. Beautiful. And I'm going to be trying that. And look at this dish. Look at how beautiful. I don't know if you can see that.
You can see it. Looks great. That is
and
one
it's just
portion
steaming
for me.
hot. Very good. And I have, I have the wine that you suggested, so I'm going to try that. With my husband, we don't do a lot of white wine because he's such, as you know, Aaron, such a red wine, enthusiast.
Absolutely.
But the same with you?
Oh yeah. In fact, I'm not a fan of Chardonnay. This particular one I like. Again, with this dish, it's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. And I finished here my wonderful spring rolls, which I've added some vermicelli noodles in there. I also put some shrimp, and I have things from the garden. I have the carrots. I have the zucchini because zucchini is so prolific, as you know. And I've made some of your dipping sauces that you sent along to me, and I can't wait to get into that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so there we have with that. Lisa, how you coming along?
Oh, everything is coming along well. Just wanted to give you an idea of sort of how it's boiling down right now. The brown sugar, the coconut, and all of the spices we put in are boiling down to make a thicker consistency. Now, I did want to say that once it gets down to that sugary level, of course, we're going to remove the cinnamon stick. And if you have opted to use a thick piece of ginger, that's going to be taken out. But let me also show you one. Let me show you one that's a little further along.
Okay.
So if I can kind of turn it, and you can see now how that has really sort of, oh, that's hot, how that's sort of melded together, and you're getting more of a syrupy kind of consistency now. Because what happens with all that sugar is, as you put it to, you drop the candies or the cakes, and you put them to set, as that sugar, cools down and dries out, that's when it hardens.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that brings us to our second giveaway. I don't think we've talked about this, and that's going to be for the first 3 people. Again, this is for the Opera Blend Spice from Salt Table, who can tell us what Giuseppe Verdi opera that Lisa and I sang together. What was the opera by Verdi that Lisa and I sang together? That goes to the first 3 people who email at cookingwithdenyce@gmail.com. And I'm going to be sending you out some of the wonderful Opera Blend Spice. So, and I want to say something to everyone. We're nearing the end of this series. And so next week is going to be so much fun. I'm really, really looking forward to it, but there are going to be lots and lots of giveaways. And the answers are going to come from every episode that we've done. We're at episode 9 now. And the answers are going to, so if you want to go to YouTube and look into the archive, all of the answers are going to come from every episode. And there are going to be lots of giveaways, lots of wonderful things, aprons and oven mitts and all kinds of wonderful things. So do come back next Sunday. Very, very good. All right.
Great. So
are you done?
Denyce, can I show everybody about a coconut?
Yes.
I just thought it'd be kind of fun. This is a great way to get your aggressions out, particularly in the season that we're in right now. So if you love coconut, find a store that carries them and have a good time. So what I mean by that, I will try to come a little closer to the camera. If you look at a coconut, similar to kind of like a bowling ball, how you would put your fingers in there, and you have 2 that are like close, like eyes, and then you can consider, let me turn it the right way, consider the mouth. Oh, I'm doing this backwards. Sorry, guys. So when we look at that, if we turn the coconut then to the side, we can actually see lines. I wonder if you can see that line going down.
We can see them, yes.
Yeah, and it goes all the way around the coconut. And so if you're trying to open this coconut, which can be, it's hard. It's like a rock. But when you shake it, I guess you can't hear that. There's a lot of water in there. So that's why I have my bowl here. So what you want to do is you kind of want to bang it with a hammer on every single one of those lines. Now it'll take you have to be very precision and you want to go all the way around. I'm doing it over a bowl because the water will begin to come out. Now come on and behave yourself and work right.
Okay. All righty.
Oh, there it is.
I hope it.
See it?
Okay.
See the
Yay.
There it is.
Yes.
And the coconut
Very good.
cracking. Yay! It opened. Oh, good. I was afraid it wouldn't work. So yeah, that's how you can open it. And then you can see the wonderful white flesh inside of it. And then it's really easy to get out. You just take like a paring knife, and the flesh it's firm, but it's soft enough that you definitely can cut it out from there and get your pieces out, as you can see that piece, right? And then, of course, as grading is a thing that's very prominent in my mind, you can always then take a grater when you want to make these coconut candies or cakes, and then you do it over a grater to get the shreds. That makes sense? And also,
this is delicious.
Yeah, and please don't throw the water away. Now, obviously, from the cracking, there is some of the shell of the coconut that's in there, and you'll want to take like a strainer, maybe even put a paper towel or cheesecloth in it to help get the water out of it. But I've already, with my other coconut, I've already got a glass of coconut water, and it's delicious.
Oh, that's wonderful. A lot of people like to drink that after the gym or something like that.
Right.
Aaron,
electrolytes.
Aaron, we're just about at time here. What kind of rice did you use?
Jasmine. I typically keep jasmine rice at the house, but I also have some other types of rice depending what we're making. But for this, I wanted that fragrant rice. And I did it, quite frankly, in the an Instant Pot, though you can do it on the stove, whatever method you like.
I did the same thing, but I've already started the party over here. I started eating because I was so hungry, and it all smells so delicious. And I've got my nice glass of Chardonnay that you recommended to me. And in honor of my wonderful husband, I've got, which I rarely ever drink, my glass of bourbon here.
Beautiful.
So Lisa, are we going to get to see we're just about at time here.
Yeah, so I just want to show you that, let me get organized here. You bring this bowl, this one that's closer to finish. So what you'll do is you'll take a baking pan and you'll line it with some wax paper so that, the cakes themselves don't stick too much. And I take a spoon, like a good tablespoon, and I'm using like a rubber spatula. And I'm basically scooping that into the shape of that spoon, like that. And then laying it onto the wax paper, and you would lay it down similar to how you would put like chocolate chip cookie dough. And I do have some that I already did.
Oh, wonderful.
Look like that. And then once they cool and they harden, then have at it. Enjoy it.
Bon appetito. Bon appetito.
Well, yeah.
I love it too. You guys, I wanted to thank you so much for being here today. Aaron, you've become such a very dear friend of us, and we've had so many friend of ours, and we've had so many wonderful times together at your kitchen table and at our kitchen table. And my husband loves it when you come to cook venison, because as you know, he's a real outdoorsman. So that's one of the things that he loves so much. Lisa, it's great to reconnect with you.
Oh, so awesome.
You're as beautiful as I always have remembered you. So I just want to thank you so much. I just want to say to everybody that on Friday, October 23rd at 6 p.m., the Santa Fe Opera is presenting the new one-act opera, This Little Light of Mine. This Little Light of Mine, that portrays the key events of the life of the voting rights activist Fannie Lou Hamer, a Black woman of humble beginnings who spoke truth to power, and her tireless effects culminated in the passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. As part of their contemporary arts, their living room series, the national screening of Is This America? Is This America will be followed by a panel discussion. And the panelists will discuss the origins of the new opera that's titled This Little Light of Mine, with the composer Chandler Carter and the librettist Diana Solomon Glover. I just want to say to take the time to wrap yourself in your own light. Let your light help lead the way and guide your footsteps. I'm Denyce. We've been in the kitchen with Cooking with Denyce. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for allowing me into your homes. I do appreciate your time and your energy and your enthusiasm. Thank you for all of the people who can continue to return Thank you to the wonderful chef Aaron, to Lisa Daltirus, and for all of you here. And I look forward to seeing you next Sunday. Thank you so much. Here's to you. Here's to life.
Still